Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're going into one of the new daily races at Suzuka in the Super Formula 23. So as you can see from this race, the slipstream is on custom. Now we've been asking for this for every single race in high downforce, whether it's Group 2 or Group 1, but they only really tend to use it in the Super Formula, and it definitely makes a difference, as you're going to see in this race now. So we're going from the back of the grid. It's a standing start, always a little bit of fun at Suzuka with a standing start in these cars. So yeah, normally a little bit of chaos, but it's always enjoyable. I do like these daily races when they're on. It would be nice if they used a different combination other than Suzuka all the time. There's plenty of other tracks they could use with these cars, but it does make a fun combo. So starting from the back there, using second gear off the start with a little bit of boost there and TC on 1 tends to give a consistent start, and then just trying to avoid the chaos really at the start here. It's all about just keeping an eye on the cars in front, keeping an eye on the cars behind, and just trying to avoid damage and avoid getting taken out basically. So you can see, taking it a little bit easier, as one car's gone off there, another car's gone off on the left up there. That's 2 positions gained in the space of 2 corners and up into P8. So again, as we're coming through here, we've got a car going a little bit slow on the outside there. We're going to try and take that position on the left hand side now, and you can see we're going to have to give him a bit of space there. He's on the inside, nearly got squished wide there, but just about managed to keep it on the track and hold on to that P8 position. So going into the hairpin, we're going to go deep on the outside here. You can see we're going to go very late on the brakes and round the outside and try and hold that position, which we managed to do up into 3rd gear and up into 7th position. So pretty nice start so far. Started from the back of the grid and we've worked our way up reasonably well on the first half of this lap as we go into Spoon Corner now, and just try and get a really good exit off this left-hander here so you can power your way down into 130. You can see P5, bit of a poor exit there. That's going to give us a run into the slipstream, and now we're in a bit of an awkward situation because can't really do much. So you can see I'm just going to not use my boost and just wait to see if anything happens between these two. And then as we come into the braking zone, keep your eye on the mirror and you're going to see a car come hurtling towards us, and we get punted and pinballed into another car. Nothing we could do there. We're going to show you the replay of what actually happened there. So a car coming from quite far back, we're going to ride on board with him now, completely misses his brakes, goes straight into the back of the car, straight into the back of us, and yeah, pinballs them all off at the track. But luckily for myself, we just got front and rear damage off it because obviously he hit us, and 5-second penalty for the guy that hit everyone and caused the incident. So we got a bit of front and rear damage, so we're going to be incredibly slow on this straight now. We're actually going to lose a position back down to P6 there. You can see got no top end at all when your aero's gone. Luckily, damage is only on temporary, so it will repair itself. By the time we get through these corners here, you should see it should come back anytime soon. You can see there you go, back to full downforce now. Now we just got to get back into it and try and catch these cars up ahead of us. You can see running a little bit wide there. And now we're going to go into the 2 right-hand corners and just try and see if we can push and get back up towards the top 5. So a bit unfortunate that, lost quite a bit of time. You can see 6.5 seconds behind the leader at this phase. There's another car, big moment. Luckily the ghosting system works, and another car's actually gone off there underneath the tunnel. So 2 positions gained. So luckily for us, the ghosting system working very, very well there, and up into P4. And now we've got a podium not far ahead, but you can see the gap, 6.7 seconds to the leader, quite far back at this stage of the race. So got a lot of work to do to see if we can catch up right towards the front. So into Spoon Corner again, try and get a good solid exit off here to pick up that slipstream. Now this is the great thing about this race, is the slipstream feels pretty normal. With the boost though, obviously you can use the boost to get yourself in that slip even stronger and get massive gains, and because you're not losing the aero in the corners, you're not dropping away from them through the corners. So it's more about just hanging in there and driving quite tactical. It's not stupid strength. There was a race in the Super Formula a long time ago where it was just a bit too strong. You could just gain massive amounts from the slipstream, but now it is definitely a bit more how we want it to be. I'd love to do a Group 2 race with these settings, with the custom slipstream, and even a Group 1 hybrid race in the Porsche or something like that. I think it'd be really entertaining, but at the moment PD have not given us these races to do. But a lot of fun in this one. You can see still in P4, and we got these 2 cars in front of us battling now. So decided not to use my boost there because there wasn't really much point me wasting my boost while they were using the boost button to accelerate up on that straight there. So it's better for me just to save it, catch them back up through the corners, and then use it a little bit more tactically and try and hold on to some of this boost. So you can see now as we come into the 2 right-hand corners, trying to get as close as we can, pretty much flat out through the first part, then downshift into 4th gear, then on the throttle as early as you can, and then into this tight hairpin. It's just pretty much about braking as soon as the car straightens up onto the brakes, and you can see just how close this is between all three cars here from the replay camera. Getting right up behind them there, picking up the slipstream, and now working our way up into spoon corner. Can we go for a move into spoon corner? It looks like we're a little bit too far back. It looks like P3 actually was using a bit of boost here. You can see, looks like he caught right up with a bit of boost. Again, we're not using ours. I'm keeping it for when we need it. So again, on the straight now, we're going to try and use a bit of boost there just to get a good exit, but decided not to waste it again too much. You can see using it here. We're going to go for the move actually down the left hand side. Can we make this work? It's going to be a very, very tricky move to make work. We go past one car, and now we're going to try and brake all the way around the outside. Can we make that one work as well? Trying to hold it around the outside. Now we've got the inside to this corner. We're giving him space on the outside. He stays ahead, but now we're going to try and use that boost up to try and get past. So you can see onto the boost, we've got the slipstream. We're going to do a little fake to the left and then jink it to the right. That'll just make him so he doesn't cover the inside. And now we're up into P2. So nice few overtakes done there in the space of a few corners. And now we've got a 6.2 second gap to P1. So quite a large amount of time to try and make up in this race. So we're going to get on it here and try and push as much as we can, especially through these corners. Don't use the boost up in the corners, obviously, because that's not where you're going to gain. You want to use the boost up on acceleration and on the straight. So also beneficial on the uphill parts. For example, coming out of that corner there, where you're going up the hill, the boost can be quite a benefit on them type of corners. So out of the exit of this corner as well, a bit of boost can sometimes be beneficial there. Not using it on this lap though, and we're going through the purple sector there, and now into the hairpin. Just keeping that pushing and pushing as much as we can at the moment here. We want to try and make sure we stay a reasonable length behind from the cars behind as well. And you can see we've managed to do that. We've built up a gap of 1.2 seconds coming up to the end of lap 6. We've currently got the fastest lap of the race. We've managed to get that gap down to 3 seconds. I think Lewis had a little bit of an issue and lost a second or two, but we are gaining anyway. So we're going to go for an early pit stop here in the pits on lap 6, do it the 6-6 divide, and hopefully get a bit of an undercut over Lewis and maybe get within 2 seconds after the pit stop. So into the pits just to change the tyres, no fuel needed, and straight back out into the race. And luckily we've come out into some nice clean air. So we've got no one in front of us. We can just drive 100% flat out and try and push to see how close we can get to to Lewis when he pits. So Lewis is going to go in the pits probably on the end of lap 7 and try and have slightly fresher tyres towards the end. Hopefully, if I can get a good lap in on this out lap, we can get a little bit closer by the time he pits. So pushing as much as we can on this out lap. You can see again flat out through these corners, nice fresh tyres. Do take a few corners to get themselves up to proper temperature, but not too long. With them being racing soft tyres, within a third of a lap they're pretty much, you know, up to there with the tyre temperatures. So starting to feel reasonable halfway through the lap, and by the end of the lap they should feel pretty much optimal. So again, working our way up into spoon corner as we fast forward to the main straight as Lewis is out of the pits, and you can actually see we've managed to get that gap under 2 seconds down to 1.3 seconds. We're actually in the slipstream. So maybe he's had an issue on the out lap, or it could also be that obviously the fresh tyres versus the older tyres, and I did use a little bit of boost up on that out lap to try and get as close as we can. But this has worked out really, really nicely. We've got a bit of slipstream. I'm guessing at this stage Lewis had a little bit more boost left because we've used a bit to get past people and work our way up through the field. Lewis obviously started at the front of the grid, and now we're just going to try and hang with that slip as much as we can. Use the benefit of the slipstream with a bit of boost to try and drag us up behind him. So again, you can see maximum attack now on these laps into the braking zones, heavy on the brakes, rotate the car up into third gear nice and early there, and then pushing up behind Lewis again. And you can see about 1.2 seconds behind him at this stage. Try and make sure we get a good exit off spoon corner. You can see again using a bit of the boost up there to try and get a little bit closer, because the closer we can get, the more slipstream we're going to have off Lewis, and that's going to help us push up even further. So again, on this left hand corner, not the best exit there, didn't really push it to the outside of the track, and you see lost a little bit of time, so decided to use a little bit of boost up to try and gain on this straight again. And you can see getting that gap back down to 1.2 seconds as we go through 130R and into the heavy braking zone of the chicane, braking just before the 100 board there on the left, down to second gear, then back up to third gear as we put the power down to go over the finishing line. And you can see we're under 1 second. This is getting very, very interesting. We're getting closer and closer. The gap's coming down. A 35.8, not a massively quick lap, but it's not a bad lap as we work our way up behind him. Trying to make sure we don't use all our boost up. We need to save some of this boost for the last lap if we come down to a battle. So you can see on the replay camera just how close this is getting now between myself and Lewis. Matter of 6, 7, 8 attempts, and no dirty air. So much more fun. This is how we want the racing to be in high downforce on Gran Turismo. You can have fun, you can battle. I don't see the fun in just getting stuck behind the car, making it impossible for that car to get anywhere near. This is more like it. You can race, you can enjoy these high downforce cars so much more with these settings than what we normally used to have with the proper slipstream. So pulling up behind him now, you can see into the braking zone again. Gap down to under 6 tenths. We're getting very, very close. We've got the slipstream to help, and we can always use that little bit of boost to gain a little bit more in that slipstream also. So now this is going to be a tactical battle all the way to the finish. We've got 3 and a bit laps to go. Haven't got the most amount of boost left, but we've got the slipstream, so we can tactically use our boost when and when we need it. So don't waste it. Use it when we can to get a bit more slipstream, and then just try and sit in that slipstream for as much as possible and get as close as we can for an overtake, and see if we can get that moved on and put ourselves up into P1. So you can see gaining and gaining and gaining on this straight now. Into the braking zone again. Try and brake as late as we can. Get that down to 2nd gear. Then back up to 3rd gear. Can we get a good exit off this corner? Nice exit. Lewis makes a mistake. We're going to go down the right-hand side and put ourselves up into P1 in this daily race. Now, it doesn't look like Lewis is fighting this too much. You can see him on the left-hand side there. It doesn't look like he's going to use his boost to defend it. Looks like he's going to try and play this quite tactically also. So now what we've got to do is not use our boost, really. Why we're in this position is we've still got 3 laps to go. There's not really much point in wasting our boost energy and then not having any left on the last lap. So you can see again, as we come through the first sector, trying to get the rotation on these corners and pushing as much as we can. Now we've got to remember also, Lewis does have 1 lap fresher tyres. We pitted 1 lap earlier, so he will have a little bit more grip on these remaining few laps in the high speed corners. He'll have a tiny bit of extra pace, not a huge amount, but it will be noticeable through the higher speed corners. So into the braking zone again, early upshift to 3rd gear, try and get that good exit off the corner. And again, is he going to be close enough with a bit of boost? It looks like he's going to save the boost here. You can see doesn't look like he's going to use the boost for this part. He's probably going to try and do it on the main straight. So as we come through spoon corner, down to 4th gear, use the full width of the track, down to 3rd gear, then back up to 4th gear for that acceleration. And now he's dropped back a little bit there. You can see he's actually lost about 2 tenths there. He's down to 3 tenths now, but he is boosting on this straight. You can see he's boosting massively, and I'm not going to defend it. Decided not to use the boost. We're going to save that boost for the end. So try and let him use up some of the extra boost that he's probably got. And then again into the braking zone, can we get back past him on the main straight? So again, staying as close as we can, getting into that slipstream, and we're not going to use the boost here. So again, you can see letting ourselves just use the slipstream of the game. Lewis isn't going to defend with the boost either by the looks of it. He's just going to let this happen because we know it all comes down to the final lap really. So what I'm trying to do is save as much of that boost that I've got left for that final straight really, as we go through again this first sector for the last 2 laps of this race. Just trying to keep it nice and smooth, back up into P1, and now again Lewis just hanging in there around 2 tenths back and hanging, yeah, he's dropping to 2 tenths, 3 tenths, then back up to a tenth, and it's a very, very close race as we go through that first sector with a purple sector. So reasonable lap that we're on here now. Again, flat out through this corner, down to 4th gear. Can we get a good exit? Don't run too far wide. Very easy to run wide there. Get your tyre on the curb and floor it, and you end up spinning and off into the wall. So again, braking as late as you can for this hairpin. Lewis again sticking to the rear of my car, literally 2, 3, 4 tenths constantly. And this is what we love. This is what I love about this custom slipstream, is you can race him. You can race these cars as he uses a bit of boost to go for a move there. He actually makes a move with a bit of boost and puts himself back up into the lead. And now we're going to get the slipstream on this straight. Will he use a bit of boost in this straight? I use a tiny little bit of boost there to pick up that slipstream. You can see using the boost and now saving the rest. Now we're not going to use any more. We're just using a bit more boost to see if we can go for a move. Back up the inside on the left-hand side, side by side through 130R. And now into the braking zone. Can we brake as late as possible and hold that position? We can. Back up into P1. So great little battle going on here. Switching positions. And now we've got 1 lap left. Will Lewis to try and use that boost? I'm going to use a tiny bit of boost there to try and make him use more and more to get himself back up into the lead. You can see he uses it. He gets himself back up into the lead. And now we've just got to try and hang into his slipstream and then see if we can get that position back at the end of the lap. He runs a little bit wide there, nearly losing control on the curb. But what a great battle this is, all the way to the end of the race. Can we hold on all the way through the high speed corners, staying as close as we can behind him, being very, very patient on the throttle before we put that power down, And again, we're only 2 tenths behind, picking up that nice slipstream, and then we're going to go into these 2 high-speed right-hand corners. So the first high-speed one, flat out in 6th, braking for the next one, down to 4th gear, and then onto the throttle, staying again under 2 tenths behind him through the corner, and then into the braking zone of the hairpin brake as late as we can and try and get ourselves a nice good exit. He goes a little bit narrower into the corner. That's going to give ourselves a slightly better exit. You can see there we gain a tenth straight away and down to 2 tenths behind him now as we work our way up this straight. Can we get this move done? This is going to come down to the last part of the lap. Last lap here, battling for the lead. He goes a little bit deep into that corner. We're going to downshift it to 3rd, then back up to 4th gear, pick up the slipstream. Now it's going to be a boost race all the way to the finish. We've both got boost. Using that boost, picking up the slipstream, we're going to get right into that really strong part of the slipstream. Going to go around the outside of 130R. Can we make that work? It's going to be too hard. We can't go around the outside. He's going to go defensive here. We're going to send it in deep and try and go side by side. Look at this for great racing. Side by side through the chicane, up into the leader race, and we're going to take that P1. Absolutely brilliant fun on this daily race C. And this is why we need more races in higher downforce cars with these custom slipstreams, because it makes the racing 100 times better. In my view, people would rather race like that than just be stuck behind cars and just unable to overtake. So much more fun and so much more enjoyable. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and I'll be back with more of these in the future. Thanks again for watching, everyone.